As busy working professionals, many of us tend to forget the importance of managing, marketing, and branding ourselves. When it comes to personal branding, we tend to believe that it's too superficial or perhaps even disingenuous. Before digging deeper into the what and how of a personal brand, I'd like to share with you the why and why personal branding matters so much to me. To illustrate this point, I'd like to share with you a photo. That's me in the center. I was born in Vietnam, where both my parents never attended high school. They were both street vendors selling a popular street snack in Vietnam called the hot buns. If I were to have stayed in Vietnam, I most likely would have followed into the footsteps of my parents in becoming a food street vendor myself as well. Fortunately, at the age of 6, I was fortunate enough where my parents decided to immigrate to the United States with little to nothing in their hands in hope of a better future for me and my brother. Despite the early challenges of being an immigrant and second language learner, through perseverance and determination, I made it to UC Berkeley, where I attended the HaasX School of Business as well. During this time, I quickly learned that a higher education and a college degree were simply table stakes in today's competitive job market. I realized more about who you know and less about what you know. I was enamored by the tech brands that were growing at that time, the Google, the Facebook, and the Apple. I asked myself the question, what was my connection to this world? And I realized that I didn't have that many connections. I didn't have a family friend, an aunt, or an uncle, or a brother, or a sister in this industry. And that's when I realized that personal branding was going to allow me to position myself as an enthusiastic young marketer who was invested in his growth and development. Through this, I met many interesting mentors and people as well. Or for example, my boss at Apple, who met me through LinkedIn and realized that I was a student at Berkeley, and he gave me the opportunity to lead marketing at one of the world's most beloved brands, where I launched Apple social media. At Forbes, I met one of my mentors there who believed in marketing, where she felt that I had the opportunity to lead marketing, and that ultimately led me to being named one of the youngest Forbes 30 at the age of 22 while still being here at Haas. And lastly, people at LinkedIn who gave me the opportunity to share my narrative at scale to 100,000 people, to 1 million readers as well. So less about the why and how, let's talk about more the what. So a lot of people feel that personal branding can do more harm than good. But if I tell you that a narrative, a personal brand, or a story that's not shared by you will be dictated, informed, and shaped by others, don't you want to manage how you're going to be Googled up? Google yourself up and see if those are the results that you want to have. And what I realized that when I Googled myself 2 or 3 years ago, there was a photographer named Tai. There was also a bodybuilder named Tai as well. And so in the past 1.5 to 2 years, now that I have Googled myself again, I realized that through personal branding, through various talks I've given, through LinkedIn, through various other networks, I've been able to optimize who I am, in a sense, in the marketing world, SEO. So in a sense, now let's talk more about, so is personal branding just perception management? Absolutely not. It's more than just perception. I believe personal branding is the intersection, the overlap, the fusion of perception and reality. And that reality starts with you. You are your personal brand. Your personal brand is multidimensional. It's not just about your profession. Tai is not just a marketer. Tai is a mentor, a student, a teacher, a writer, and a son of 2 immigrants. So it's more than just that. Your personal brand should be the best of you, but it also should demonstrate some of your flaws and weaknesses as well. It should show your difficulty, but your successes, some of your challenges, but also your triumphs. So let's talk a little bit more about the how. We're all so different, so I can't really give you a guide on how to build personal brand, and that's why I like to use the word designing and architecting. We're all so different. Building a personal brand is not just step 1, step 2, step 3. Rather, it's a process that you have to find within yourself. Let's talk a little bit more about embracing. Embrace your whole self. Embrace your identity, adversity, and diversity. Only when you are vulnerable, only when you give other people an opportunity to learn about you, will they learn who you are as a person. At one point, I was very worried that as a second language learner, this would create some challenges in my jobs. However, once I told my boss, my colleagues, they realized that that liability turned into an opportunity where they had a different person with a different perspective at the workplace. Create value. Create value for others first before you expect others to see value in you. And that's where I believe curate and share best content. Have a reason to speak. Better yet, post long-form thought leadership on your personal blog, LinkedIn, or Medium. Use the platform that best fits you and suits you. And ultimately, when you're able to create value for others, then they will see the value in you and then invest in you. Lastly, think about growing. Don't just farm relationship, grow and cultivate them instead. Rather than seeing personal branding as a game of number, focus more on breadth. Focus more on depth instead of breadth. Enable, if you know a couple people very well, it's better than knowing many people and not knowing them too well. And I have a concept called the 50-30-20 mentorship framework, where I believe 50% when you're young, you should focus on looking after leaders who you aspire to be one day. 30% should focus on proximity peers, people who are your colleagues, who you want to grow your career with. And 20% should be paying it forward. And ultimately, as you grow in your career, this model should shift over, where 50% of your time should be spent paying it forward. And the idea is that as you grow your career, you're growing other people's career and helping the next generation as well. And to recap, today we share about embracing, creating, and growing as well. I took on the HaasX stage to embrace a little bit my identity, sharing with you something that I rarely share with many. I wanted to create some value through my own experience with personal branding, and hope that it added value to you as well. And beyond the confine of this text, talk, I'm looking forward to building our relationship in person, but also offline as well, through the various social media channels. So thank you very much. Thank you.